There are family secrets that should die with us. But then there are others, the kind that scorch your soul until they come out through your lips. Imagine being the only girl surrounded by 15 boys, not in school, not in town, but trapped inside your own home, where silence was enforced and obedience was survival. That was my life. My name is Mary Cooper. Some know me as Grandma Mary, but I doubt they know this part of me. I was born in February 1946, in a place so quiet and closed off it might as well have been forgotten by the world, Pine Creek, Alabama. A town where the sun cracked the earth, and families like mine kept tall gates and even taller secrets. From the outside, we looked like God's favorite. A hard-working father, a big, thriving household, respect, discipline, prosperity. But inside, we were ruled by one man's word. And that man was Joseph Cooper, my father. He wasn't just a farmer. He was the kind of man people feared before they even saw him. Boots echoing on cement. A stare that could stop your breath. He never had to yell to be obeyed. And I was his only daughter. His prize. His possession. You won't believe what he did to protect his rules, or how many lives were buried beneath his version of family. Our home wasn't a home, it was a compound. A kingdom where one king ruled over 15 boys and me. Daddy had a rule, family helps family, which in his world meant opening our doors to any blood relative in need. That's how it started. Orphan cousins, abandoned nephews, even sons from his first marriage. Slowly, our house filled with boys, until we were 20 people living under one roof. There were 3 wings to the house. The east for the older boys, the ones who talked like men and carried secrets they never spoke in front of me. The west for the younger ones, always watched, always ranked in a strict pecking order. And me, I had a small room in the main wing, next to Mama and Daddy's. Not for comfort, for control. I was never left alone, never allowed to speak privately with the boys. Couldn't even step into the yard unless Mama Rose was holding my hand. My dresses were long, stiff, buttoned to the neck. Ankles were scandalous, he said. Men notice everything, Daddy told me once, and my daughter will not give them anything to notice. Mama Rose was silent through it all. She came from Georgia to marry Daddy when I was 2. She raised me as her own, but never once spoke about her past. It was like she'd erased who she used to be, just like I was slowly learning to do. No questions, no privacy, no way out. Fridays were always the same. Daddy dressed in his best, polished his boots, and left for town to handle business. The older boys stood straight, listening to his orders like soldiers. No mess in my absence, he said. Then he'd hand John the keys and drive off in his blue Ford, trailing a cloud of red dust. But this Friday something felt wrong. At breakfast, their eyes lingered too long. Their laughter was hushed. I couldn't explain it, but I could feel it. Something had shifted in the air. After Daddy left, Mama rose and I started cleaning up. The boys drifted around in small groups, whispering and quiet when I passed. My skin prickled under their stares. Mama, can I go tend to the chickens? I asked, hoping to get away. She nodded. Don't be long. We're baking today. I walked to the coop, trying to distract myself. That's when Michael appeared in the doorway. My brother by blood. 3 years older. Always gentle until today. Mary, I need to talk to you, he said, his voice low and unfamiliar. What is it, Michael? Come with me. There's something you need to learn. His tone made my stomach twist. Learn what? You're 14 now. It's time you understood how women behave with the men in the family. The words hit like a slap. I stepped back, confused. Michael, I don't understand. You will. He took my hand, not violently, but firmly. No use running, Mary. Mama knows. She's busy in the kitchen. She won't stop it. And just like that, I understood. I was being led somewhere I didn't want to go. Somewhere they prepared just for me. Michael didn't take me toward the house. He walked in the opposite direction, toward the back rooms where the younger boys slept. But he didn't stop at any of their doors. Instead, he paused in front of one I recognized all too well, the old tool room. A place that once held rusted metal, sacks of feed, and forgotten junk. Why are we here? I asked, frozen in place. This is where the girls in our family learn to become women. He opened the door. What I saw wasn't a storage room anymore. A thin mattress lay on the floor. A curtain covered the window. It had been cleaned, arranged, prepared. I don't want to go in, I said, stepping back. It's not about wanting. It's about obeying. That's when I heard footsteps behind me. John, then Peter, then Anthony, Frank. One by one, they filled the hallway, forming a silent wall. No escape, no noise, just faces I thought I could trust, now looking at me like I wasn't their sister at all. What's happening? I asked, my voice shaking. You're going to learn your place in this family, John said. You'll learn to serve the men who protect you. Before I could move, he pushed me gently but firmly inside. The door slammed shut, and that was it. I was in. I sat on the edge of that mattress, heart racing, trying to understand. Then Peter walked in. He didn't speak with kindness. His eyes weren't familiar. Stay quiet, he said. Do exactly what I say. I begged to leave. He told me Mama knew. That's when it shattered, the illusion of safety, of family, of love. Everything I believed in turned to smoke. And outside that door, the line of brothers waited their turn. That Friday afternoon didn't end. It dragged on like a punishment without a clock. One by one, they entered. Not all 15. Some were too young. Others stood outside, watching the hallway, making sure Mama Rose didn't interrupt. Between each visit, I'd lie there, barely breathing, trying to understand what had become of my life. When it was finally over, I pushed myself off the floor, trembling, and tried the door. Locked. I knocked, softly at first, then harder. Please, I whispered. Let me out. I won't tell anyone. I promise I'll be good. From the other side, I heard John's voice. Cold. Flat. It's not over yet, Mary. A few more to go. I looked up at the small window. The curtain wasn't for shade. It was to muffle sound, so no one would hear. That night, when Daddy's pickup finally returned, I was still lying there, drained, unable to cry. John entered again, calm, almost casual. Now you understand how things work here, he said. Every Friday when Daddy leaves, you come to this room. And if I tell him? He smiled. Daddy knows, Mary. Who do you think built the room? That next week, everything changed and nothing did. The boys no longer looked at me like a sister. They gave me orders like I was their maid. Mary, go wash my clothes. Mary, fetch my towel. You forgot to iron my shirt, do it again. And Michael, he spoke to me like I was his property. Mary, come comb my hair. As if it was his right. Mama Rose? She said nothing. She just nodded like everything was normal, as if silence had always been her way of surviving. I stopped expecting help. I stopped expecting anything. But then I noticed Charlie. He was the youngest of the older boys, just 15. A cousin, not a brother by blood. Daddy took him in after his father died in a work accident. His mother had moved to Memphis, too poor to bring him along. Everyone praised Daddy for his generosity, but Charlie never looked grateful. He always sat quietly during meals, eyes down, chewing slowly like he was trying to disappear. And every Friday I noticed something strange. When the others lined up outside that room, Charlie never did. He always had an excuse. My stomach hurts. I think I heard a car outside. The others mocked him, called him soft. John would scowl but still let it go. At first I thought it was fear. But on the fourth Friday, when Michael said Charlie was too sick to join, I knew it was a lie. I had seen him working in the garden that morning, perfectly fine. Then the fifth Friday came and he vanished completely. Frank went looking. Nothing. Not in the barn, not at the pond, not in his room. He must be hiding, John snapped. Let him. We're wasting time. That night, while I lay on that same mattress, bruised and used, I realized something. Charlie wasn't weak. He was resisting. And if he was resisting, maybe I wasn't completely alone after all. I started watching Charlie more closely. At meals, he sat in the worst seat, the broken one no one wanted. They always gave him the smallest piece of meat, the hardest chores, the coldest glances. He wasn't part of them, not really. He wasn't feared. He wasn't respected. He was just there, tolerated. At night, While the others stayed on the porch telling loud stories and laughing too hard, Charlie vanished. One night I found out where. I woke up to use the bathroom. On my way back, I saw something through the hallway window. A shadow, sitting still beneath the mango tree. It was Charlie, legs crossed, eyes staring at the sky like he was begging the stars for answers. The next morning, my heart pounding, I found him at the pond. I didn't waste time. "Do you like living here?" I asked. His face froze. "Why are you asking?" "Because it doesn't look like you do." He looked away, then whispered, if I could leave, I would. Today. And just like that, I knew. He knew what happened in that back room. He knew what they did to me. And he didn't want to be part of it. That same afternoon, we made a silent pact. If I left a small stone on the kitchen windowsill, he'd meet me at the pond after dark. If he tied a blade of grass to the chicken fence, I'd come find him. No words, no risk. Just two broken children hiding signals in a house full of monsters. One evening, Daddy came home carrying something wrapped in brown paper. He gathered everyone like he was unveiling treasure. "A tape recorder," he said, holding it up with pride. "Battery operated. For business. From now on, I'll record every important conversation so I don't forget the details." He had no idea what he just handed me, a weapon. The kind that could finally make someone listen. It was small, silver, with a red button that clicked when pressed. And the moment I saw it, I knew exactly what to do. That night, I left a stone on the windowsill. At the pond, Charlie was already waiting. He saw my face and knew something had changed. "I have a plan," I whispered, "and it might actually work." I explained everything. The recorder, the voices, the room. If we could capture even a few minutes of what happened every Friday, the way they talked, the way they ordered me around, the way they justified it, we'd have proof. Real proof. Something Daddy couldn't ignore. Charlie was quiet. "And after we record it," he asked. "You take it to Daddy," I said. "Pretend you found it. Say you got curious, listened, and were horrified. And if he suspects me, he won't. You're just a poor cousin who's never spoken out. He'll never believe you had the brains to pull off a plan like this." Charlie looked at me, scared, but nodding. We had our roles. I'd hide the recorder. He'd deliver it. If it worked, it could end everything. If it didn't, well, there was no going back now. Friday came again, and this time, I didn't just feel fear. I felt purpose. Daddy announced he was heading to Huntsville for the day. "Might be back late," he said, adjusting his hat. "Long business to settle." He had no idea what was about to happen in his absence. When I heard the pickup fade down the dirt road, my heart pounded so loud I was sure they could hear it. The recorder was warm against my skin, hidden beneath my blouse. As John walked me toward the back room, he smirked. "We've got extra time today. That means a proper lesson." I nodded, just like always. When he turned his back for a second, I crouched by the old chair in the corner. With one practice motion, I slid the recorder underneath and pressed the button. A soft click, and it began. "Why are you down there?" John snapped. "A button fell off," I lied. "Already found it." He didn't question it. None of them ever believed I could think for myself. And then it began. Peter came in first, his voice full of arrogance. "Today, you're going to learn how to please a man the right way." Then Michael, always cruel with words. "You were raised for this, Mary. You're ours." Each voice, each command, every twisted phrase recorded. But when Manuel came in, my youngest brother by blood, something shifted. He knelt beside me and whispered, "I'm sorry." Just 2 words, but they cracked something. For the first time, I saw hesitation, regret, maybe even shame. And the recorder caught that, too. Saturday morning came like a ticking clock. My hands shook as I placed the recorder in Charlie's palm beneath the breakfast table. "It's all there," I whispered. Every word, every voice. Charlie slipped it into his pocket and nodded. The plan was in motion. After breakfast, Daddy stepped out onto the porch with his coffee and old newspaper. That was Charlie's cue. "Mr. Cooper," he said, nervously, "can I talk to you?" Daddy raised an eyebrow. Charlie never approached him. "It's private, sir. I found something." They disappeared into the office. I stayed near the window, pretending to sort laundry, heart pounding, ears straining. At first, just murmurs, then silence, a long silence, the kind that means something's about to break. And then voices again, not calm ones, Daddy's, low, controlled, but burning with something deeper than rage. When the door opened, Daddy stepped out first, face pale, recorder in his hand, eyes blazing. "John," he roared, loud enough to shake the whole house. John stumbled out, shirt half buttoned, looking like a child who knew he was caught. Peter, Michael, Anthony, Frank. One by one they were summoned. Everyone was ordered to the courtyard. "Mary," Daddy said, pointing, "you're going to watch this." He held up the recorder like it was a loaded gun. "You know what's on here?" His voice dropped. "Your voices. Your filth. Proof." They tried to speak. He shut them down with a stare. "You dishonored this family. You betrayed me. And worst of all, you did it without permission." And that's when it hit me. He wasn't furious about what they'd done. He was furious they hadn't asked first. And just like that, the real face of our empire began to crack.